Guys, let me just say, this right here is truly Final Shape in a nutshell. Bungie has given us not only a new exotic sword, but they've made it a special weapon, which is crazy enough in itself. But then they decided to make this sword a variety of different archetypes that, get this, aren't even swords. You can literally get a sword that's a wave frame, which is a grenade launcher archetype. And to top everything off, they decided to say, hey, how about we just give you exotic traits found on your favorite exotic weapons and just put it on your sword. You want Wolfpack rounds? Done. How about a Gathering Light? Sacred Flames. Have you ever looked at Perfect Fifth on Polaris Lance and thought to yourself, I wonder what that would be like on a sword? Let me just say, none of us ever expected this to happen. I really feel like Bungie saw us last year during the crafting and decided, you know what? Let's just make that happen for this sword. And they have. This is the most unique weapon we have ever gotten in the game, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about everything that you can get on this sword. Then we're going to talk about how to unlock this sword, followed by how to effectively farm for the sword every single week, as this is not a craftable weapon. This is going to require you to farm, and there are going to be some clear winners when it comes to this weapon. Now, before you write this off just because it's a sword, keep in mind, guys, our artifact mods this season heavily benefit swords. We have Argent Blade, Overload Swords, and if it's a Void Sword, it can take full advantage of Expanding Abyss, which we recently tested. Now, as far as what's present on this weapon, the elemental types that it can roll with include Solar, Arc, or Void. So nothing that can be Stasis or Strand here. And it makes sense because it's present in that energy slot. Now, the exotic traits that it can roll with, and yes, they're identical in a lot of ways to the exotic traits found on their associated exotic weapons, include Gathering Light, which states final blows with this weapon grant stacks of Gathering Light, improving guard stats and lunge range. Stowing this weapon consumes all stacks, granting melee, grenade, and class ability regeneration. So a little different here, as it's been custom tuned for this sword. Next, we have Wolfpack rounds, where powered heavy attacks cause nearby sword wielders to emit tracking missiles with every attack. Now, it's not just for your teammates. You can literally do it for yourself. So when you do the heavy attack, you can swap to your heavy sword and proceed to do damage. And what's so beautiful about this is that one of the biggest drawbacks to Whirlwind, which is a very good perk, is that it takes time to get 10 stacks. But because these Wolfpack rounds are hitting while you're holding the sword out and you're doing damage, it immediately gives you 10 stacks. No lie, guys, Whirlwind Blade is back for me in the God Roll conversation because you don't have that delay of time when it comes to proccing times 10. Now, the next perk Ergo Sum can roll with is Sacred Flame. Powered heavy attacks mark nearby targets, causing them to explode upon death. Striking marked targets with a light attack detonates them. You can also roll with the Perfect Fifth, where every 5 hits attaches a delayed solar explosive, scorching your target. So again, similar to Polaris, without the requirement of landing precision hits, considering it's a sword. You can also roll with Arc Conductor. Power heavy attacks charges the wielder, enabling them to resist arc damage and chain lightning to nearby targets. Next, we have Stormbringer. Rapid final blows creates a lightning storm at the target's location. We've got Unplanned Reprieve, where power heavy attacks emit projectiles that detonate with a delayed void explosion. And then, Insectoid Robot Grenades. Defeated targets drop insectoid robots that chase and explode close to other targets. I swear, guys, this has got the crafting written all over it. Now, we do believe that some of these exotic traits are in fact tied to certain elements. For example, Perfect Fifth and Sacred Flame, at least from what I've seen, seems to only roll on swords that are solar. And the same for Arc Conductor and Stormbringer, only rolling on Arc. But things like Wolfpack rounds can roll on all 3. But that roughly gives you kind of an idea of what you're looking at with this sword. Outside of that, guys, it's got your base perks as blades. You've got Burst Guard, Enduring Guard, Sword Master, all of those. But that final trait there is called Transcendent Duelist. This weapon collects less ammo, and final blows of this weapon accelerate light and darkness mastery. Also deals increased damage while transcendent. Defeating targets lengthens transcendence. Now, I will say, the ammo economy on this thing is not good. Luckily, though, for all of us, we have the artifact mod Blade Stamina, where rapidly defeating targets with the sword refunds sword ammo. This is a very good mod, guys, especially for these swords that don't necessarily have the best ammo economy. Now, again, we're not going to fully be reviewing this weapon today, as there's just a number of different roles that we're going to be testing. We'll be going over which archetypes pair the best here with some of these exotic traits, which weapon archetype benefit the most from Transcendent Duelists, and we'll also be doing some some damage testing soon. Now let's talk about how to unlock this weapon, and then we'll talk about how to farm for it, as there's two really good ways to net yourself very fast rolls of Ergo Sums. Now for those of you trying to unlock the sword, first you need to beat the Final Shape campaign, which I know had a lot of error codes day one, but luckily things seem to have leveled out. Now after you've beaten the campaign, you can talk to your ghosts, who will talk to you about what you just experienced, and will give you the quest Destined Heroes. Now step one of this quest is to listen to this radio message here left by Samathun in the Pale Heart Tower. Now after hearing this message, you turn around and there will be a mission you can launch called Queen's Part 1. You follow the marker on the screen down to the entrance of the Lost City where the campaign first began. Here, there will be a Hive Knight, a blocked door, a Void Hive rune, and a shielded acolyte. Now what you need to do is kill the Hive Knight, pick up a sword, and then block while facing the Hive rune. And the acolyte's void attack will then reflect off of the shield and destroy the rune, allowing you to progress. And this is going to be the main mechanic of this mission. Now in this next room, you'll have 9 more runes to activate, that being 3 Void, 3 Solar, and 3 Arc. Now there's going to be different Hive enemies needed to reflect to activate these runes. On the left side, you have shielded Hive Knights, who deal solar damage that you can reflect. To the right, there will be a shielded Shrieker, who deals void damage for those void runes. Then lastly, straight ahead, when you jump across, you'll see shielded Hive Wizards, who deal arc damage for those runes. Again, same thing, position yourself between the enemies and the runes, block, and then face towards that rune, and the attack will reflect and activate them. Now after this, you follow the marker on the screen and progress forward to the next area. Now here you'll see that these runes have a shield around them, blocking them. Kill another Hive Knight to pick up a sword, and this time you need to use your projectile attack and aim it at the green orb above the shield, and this will get rid of it. Now since these Hive are wizards, they'll deal arc damage, so you'll reflect their attacks toward the arc rune. Now the wizard shields will lower. Kill them, and then you can spawn the Shrieker to reflect void damage towards the void rune. Now the same thing after that, kill the Shrieker, which will spawn 2 Hive Knights and a Hive Guardian, who deal solar damage for that last solar rune. After that, guys, kill the Hive, including the Hive Guardian, and progress forward. And with all these quests, just continue following the marker on the screen. There will be some more Shriekers that you can either kill or avoid when you get to that next area. And it's around here that you're going to see more runes and 3 Hive statues, each containing an elemental charge. Again, similar mechanic, pick up the sphere and throw them at their associated rune. This will then allow you to damage Samathun. Now once her HP is down to about 2/3, move to the next location to your left. Here you'll see more runes that are blocked again, so you need to kill a knight, pick up a sword, use the projectile attack on the orb above the shields to lower them, pick up the elemental charge, and throw it at the Hive runes. Now you can damage Samathun again, and once her health hits about 1/3, she will then teleport away, and that is the end of the mission. Now the next step has you returning to the tower in the Pale Heart, and you'll talk with Micah 10. She'll talk to you about lost ghosts, and she'll give you a new quest called Convalescence Rootbound. This is separate from the exotic quests, but you can check that out in our Pale Heart guide. Now the next step is to speak to Cade 6, who will actually give you another exotic quest, this time called Wildcard. This is for the Still Hunt exotic, but again, this is also separate, and you can check out our video for that. After this, you talk to your ghost, who will ask you to pick up 2 quests, which must be completed in order to progress through the Destined Heroes quests, that being Lost in Light and Found in the Dark. Now we're going to start with Lost in Light first. Step 1 says to find a manifestation in a cave in the Refraction. Now we're going to start from the Lost City. Again, with all these, I recommend tracking the quest directly, as it puts the marker on your screen. And again, you can always just launch the quest from the screen itself, but otherwise you can just follow our path on the screen that you see here. Now once you arrive, you go through this bubble thing in the wall, and through this tunnel you'll find a chest that you can synergize to give you a light grenade. Now there's some lore here that you can listen to of a memory between Uldren and Mara, where Uldren brought Mara and Ahamkara. Very good lore here, guys. To the right, you have a mission you can launch called The Hollow Part 1. This mission has you teaming up with Mithrax to track down House Salvation. Now when you spawn in, you go through the portal and proceed upwards. You'll proceed to kill a few fallen, and after some dialogue, there will be a panel to hack into and a hole in the wall that you can go through. Next, kill some fallen until your objective updates telling you to hack another system with your ghosts. Now this one will take some time, so you need to defend your ghosts from fallen that spawn, and occasionally your ghost will lose connection and you'll need to re-interact with it to send them back out. But essentially, guys, just keep defending your ghost until he's finished, and you'll have some dialogue with Mithrax. You can then press forward and pursue House of Salvation, killing some fallen along the way, and you'll reach an open area with a shield that you need to get rid of. Continue following the marker on your screen to find the shield generators. Here you'll find more fallen and 2 taken enemies called Eater of Light. Now these guys drop light motes, and what you need to do is pick up these light motes and head to the arrow on the screen, which will bring you to a darkness platform to dunk the motes on. Which I know seems off, but again, you're not trying to match things as you're trying to sabotage here. Now you'll find more enemies and more taken enemies, this time called Eater of Darkness. These guys will drop dark motes. You'll pick these up, take them back to where you just killed the Eater of Light enemies, and now you'll dunk those dark motes onto the light platform. And this will destroy both shield generators. Now you can head back into that open area with the big shield, and there will be a boss fight with Korra the Hollow. Now this fight's not very difficult. Just get his health down to about half health, then he'll go immune, and then do the same mechanic of killing the Eater of Light and Darkness enemies to spawn their motes and dunk them on the platforms indicated on your screen. Now you can then damage the boss until he's almost dead, and he'll teleport away, and that's the mission's end. Upon completing the mission, you'll be brought back to the refraction, where you'll be able to find another chest containing a new light fragment and another mission, the Hollow Part 2. Now this mission brings you and Mithrax to Europa. You'll head forward, killing Fallen along the way, and you'll then encounter a subjugator who's pretty easy to take out. Now once the enemies there are defeated, you can interact with this panel, which will spawn a homing shank. Now this homing shank has to get close to the door, and when you shoot it, it destroys the door. And that's essentially the mechanic throughout this entire mission. Now you'll keep moving forward, keep killing Fallen. You'll then get to a room containing a Weaver with an immune shield. What you'll need to do is kill a servitor who will drop an arc charge. And once you deposit this charge, it will spawn these shanks that will then take out the Weaver's shield. You repeat this until you've killed the 3 Weavers and the path ahead opens. Now the next area will have you interact and spawn another homing shank. This time you need to follow and protect it, and essentially just kill enemies until he can get to the door where you could shoot him and he explodes. Now, if you mess up, because we actually messed up, you can go back and respawn another one, but just make sure that it actually gets right up next to the door. Now in the next room, you'll have shielded Weavers again, kill the servitors, deposit the arc charges, and then have the shanks take out their shields just like before. This time there's some more ads, including the Flying Grim. Now once all the enemies are defeated, go forward and spawn another homing shank, which you'll need to follow and protect until it gets to the door. Now you'll be in the boss room with Korra the Hollow. You'll get them down to about 2/3 of their health. You'll kill the servitors, you'll deposit 2 arc charges, and this would then lower the boss shields. And essentially, guys, just repeat this process. Once they're almost dead, they'll go immune again before getting absolutely destroyed by a brick. Yeah, Mithrax ain't playing around, man. This is final shape Mithrax. Now, upon this mission ending, it'll bring you back to the refraction where you'll have some more lore that you can listen to. This time, it's a memory between Crow and Saladin, as well as another chest, which will give you a new light super for your prismatic subclass, thus finishing the Lost in Light quest. Now, this takes us to the next quest, Found in Dark. Again here, guys, just follow the marker on your screen or follow the path that we take here. Eventually, you'll arrive at the seclusion. You'll go through the wall and head forward until you arrive at a darkness chest, giving you a darkness melee for prismatic. You'll also get a memory that you can listen to between Kaido and Zavala. Then you'll see a flag for the mission Home Part 1. Now this mission is very straightforward. Just follow the marker and defeat Cabal along the way. You'll also find scions in this bubble that you'll need to enter and kill. And once you get to this more open area, you're going to see these Cabal generators that need to be destroyed. You need to find an artillery officer, defeat them, and they will drop an antenna. You can then bring that antenna to the generator, which will direct the Cabal beam to destroy it. Do this twice, then proceed forward. Now you're going to enter a new area with some platforms and more generators. This time, they're shielded, and you're going to need to enter those scion bubbles and kill them to lower the generator shields. Now you can find artillery officers, grab their antennas, and destroy the generators. Now you should be able to just avoid the enemies while you carry the antenna, but you can also take out the ads and turrets that are shooting at you if needed. But once the 2 generators are destroyed, this will spawn a Cabal boss that you'll need to defeat along with Kaido's troops that are helping you. Now once this boss gets about halfway through his health bar, 2 subjugators and some other ads will spawn that need prismatic to damage them. Now if you don't have your bar full, there will be a prismatic well here that you can stand in to fill your bar up. After that, take out the boss and the mission will end. You'll then be brought back to the seclusion, and you'll find another darkness chest giving you a darkness aspect, as well as another memory that you can listen to between Zavala and Ikora. Now next, you launch another mission, this one called Home Part 2. The main mechanic of this mission is that you're affected with a debuff called Biting Cold, and this is a 45-second timer, and when that timer runs out, you will die. And the only way to refresh the timer is by standing by these fires. Now you'll progress down the mountain, defeating Cabal and refreshing that timer when needed. You'll then meet up with Kaido and our troops facing off against some Shadow Legion Cabal, and you head up to the platforms and take out scions in their bubbles. This will open up the generators that you need to destroy. This time, instead of antennas though, you'll need to defeat Honored Centurions, who will spawn unstable power units. Now you throw throw these power units at the generators to destroy them. Just remember, while you're doing this, guys, keep an eye on that biting cold timer. Don't let it run out. Also, watch out for all the ads and turrets around you. Now, after both generators are destroyed, you follow the path forward until you reach another area with more platforms and more generators. And essentially, you do the same thing. There's just more enemies around, and this area is a bit more spread out. Now, you can move forward and you'll reach Zavala's house from the campaign.
Oh, no.
Oof. Again, we got the same mechanic here. Head up to the platforms, kill the scions and their bubbles, revealing the generators, head back down to the ground, killing the Satyrians, then go back up and destroy the generators. This time, though, there's just a lot of ads, including enemies on interceptors and a tank in the back. Then once the generators are destroyed, the tanks will now be damageable. And once down to about 2/3 health, 2 bubble scions will need to be killed before you can damage the tank again. Now, once destroyed, you'll finish the mission and then be brought back to the seclusion, where you can get a new darkness super for prismatic from the chest, as well as listen to a memory between Zavala and his ghost torch. Now that these side quests are complete, though, you can head back to the Lost City and continue on with the main quest line, Destined Heroes. And you'll now be able to do the mission Queen's Part 2. And again, with all these missions, guys, feel free to just click them and literally just launch it right there from the tab. Even if you can't launch it, you'll at least TP to the area where you can then launch it from there. Now, upon launching into the mission, you move forward, kill some hive, you'll then reach a room with some acolytes and wizards, and you'll be required to defeat them all to continue. Now, while doing this, Mara and Savathun are also talking smack to each other, so if you're into lore, man, you're gonna like this one. Now, follow the mark on your screen, and you'll reach an open area with Taken, as well as some hive and a few dread. Keep going forward, killing enemies, until Mara will ask you to focus on defeating the Taken. Now, as you kill Taken, you'll see on the left-hand side, under your objective, how much Taken energy you've acquired. Now, once you've reached 100%, Mara will make you become Taken Empowered, where you can now see some new platforms to jump across to be able to reach the other side. Continue forward following the marker, and you'll get to a respawn restricted area. And there will be some subjugators here, as well as more Taken, and you'll need to kill enough to get 100% Taken energy. Now, Mara will then make you Taken Empowered again, and now you need to get to these cracks of light in the ground and interact with them to liberate the lights. After all this, Lizaku, aka Lucy, will spawn to help you out, just like she did in the campaign, kill more Taken to become Taken Empowered, then liberate more light from those cracks in the ground. Finally, some more enemies will spawn, including 2 tormentors, but they're pretty easy to take out. I honestly just sat there, spam my super and transcendence, and after that, the mission will end. You'll then return to your ghost in the Lost City, who will give you an item called Diadac Prism. On top of that, you're gonna get a new load zone spawn, taking you to the Sacrium and the final mission of this quest. Don't worry though, guys, it's not a real mission. It just loads you back in the area that you faced the witness in the end of the campaign, and you can then claim the exotic sword, Ergo Sum, and complete this exotic quest. Now, for my folks that are trying to farm for this weapon, there are 2 main ways to farm for Ergo Sums. Number 1 is just doing overthrows. Now, this activity rotates daily, but always choose the daily overthrow activity, and you'll see it. You'll literally have the reward there. It's the big icon on the map. You can't miss it. And as far as like how to optimize overthrow, we got an entire Pale Heart guide that you'll see very, very soon if it's not out already. That's going to go into every single type of encounter you can run into within overthrow. There is some mechanics, but for the most part, kill the bad guys, and that's about it. But this will give you, upon completing the 4th wave, an Ergo Sum randomly rolled every single time, as well as some other loots. The second way to get Ergo Sum is actually through your Pathfinder. That's right, guys, doing your Pathfinder through the Pale Heart. At the end of it, will give you a random rolled Ergo Sum. Now, I'm pretty sure you can only get this for your first 3 resets every week. Bungie had mentioned that there's diminishing returns to the resets here through Pathfinder. But Pathfinder itself is pretty easy to unlock. It retroactively unlocks. You can access it right there from the map. And what's so beautiful is that you don't have to pick anything up. If one of the requirements was literally just you getting kills on a certain enemy type, that will all fill retroactively. And that's it, guys. Those are your 2 main ways to farming Ergo Sums. We'll be breaking down the rolls on these weapons in more depth, testing out every single combination that we can come across. And if there are any crazy combinations that you want to share with us, feel free to comment them down below. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.